Hey everyone, what is going on? My name is RedArcher and in today's video we're going to be talking about Marvel's Avengers, the brand new game that released today on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC. I know you're wondering, wow, not a Payday 2 video. Don't worry, one of those coming in a couple of days. But I want to talk about this game because I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. I want to talk more about what I like and dislike about the game, and also, as a slight backup thing, if you want to see more videos on this game, please let me know, because I'm currently trying to look for another game to do videos on when Payday 2 news is quite thin, and at the minute, it's really, really thin, and I'm not sure when we'll get the next kind of bit of news for me to make a video on. So, I would like there to be a game where in the meantime I can make videos, and a lot of you will still watch it. So, if you'd like me to do more on this game, let me know. But today, we're going to be focusing on reviewing the game, talking about my experiences with it, and what I think are the pros and cons of it. Now, I purchased the Deluxe Edition, so I've been playing this since Tuesday. I've sunk a lot of hours into it, probably more hours than I should be proud of, and so I've got a really good idea of how the game works. I want to talk all about the mechanics of it and give my general feedback. Now, although the game had been in development for years and was revealed years and years ago, the first main reveal for the game came with the trailer in E3 2019, but when that trailer came out, I was not thoroughly impressed by it, and I know a lot of people weren't. People weren't impressed with the way the characters looked, with just the look of the game, and they kind of thought, you know, it looks very bland and it could have been a lot more unique. However, the more I saw of it as time passed, the more I began to pique my interest, because I was looking at the mechanics and the story and thinking, oh, hang on, there might be something really good here. They've got something good cooking. And I'm really happy to say that having played the story right through, beaten the campaign, and I'm now putting some time into the online version of the game, the actual multiplayer missions, which we'll get to in a bit, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I am really, really, really impressed by how good this game is. One of the things I'm going to lead with, though, is that this is definitely a game for Marvel fans. If you aren't really a massive fan of the Avengers, you're probably not going to enjoy this game a great deal. But it also depends on the types of games you like, because this game, to me, runs in a very similar fashion to Destiny. That's the game that keeps coming into my mind every time I think about, you know, what games is this similar to? There's a campaign that you can play solo. A lot of missions can also be done multiplayer, but there are a great deal of solo missions. Then there's also multiplayer stuff you can do on your own with AI or with co-op. So you've got that, again, that team building kind of mechanic to it. And then also there's the gear system, which is obnoxiously similar to Destiny's, but I don't really think it's bad. I think it works quite well. My issue purely is that whatever gear you equip to advance your power level in a similar way that Destiny has a light level, you don't actually change the look of your character. It's only for numbers. And I just find that to be a bit of a shame, because if you actually look at the gear, as you can see in some of the footage here, the different items of gear do actually look different. We're just not seeing that on the character itself, because what the game's chosen to do is make sure that the skin you're wearing, the outfit, so whatever Iron Man suit of armor or Black Widow jumpsuit or whatever you want to wear, is what's standing out here, and the gear isn't overriding it. Now, don't get me wrong, I see where they're coming from, and I don't dislike that idea, but I personally, as my first piece of feedback for the way this game runs, I would suggest adding a feature where you can either show just your skin, or also allow the gear you're equipping to kind of change the way it looks a little bit, so you can have either the gear changing your look or not changing your look, but leaving it up to the player, rather than going, you've unlocked this piece of gear, doesn't it look cool? Oh, but you won't see it, it's just giving you better stats. Because while I find it really entertaining to get all these new pieces of armor, grind for better gear, and try and increase the power level of my heroes, it would be even cooler if what I was earning was also visible, rather than just working to support me in the background. But anyway, let's move on to the main bread and butter of this game, the campaign. This is where it's really going to stand out if you're a Marvel fan. The campaign is fantastic, and I mean that completely, honestly, utterly. I've played right through it and I enjoyed it so much. It is clearly done with Avengers fans in mind. You can play as a bunch of different heroes. There's 6 key characters at the beginning of the game. More will be added later on with their own story missions, etc. But you start off with Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and the standout, honestly, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Because that character, to me, I'm not very familiar with Miss Marvel. I'm not used to her, and there might be a lot of people who know her and have, you know, a big fan of her comics or whatever. I'm personally was not very well versed with her, but I've got to say, the character was introduced really well. The voice acting on her was fantastic, and because the game starts off through her eyes, she's kind of like the surrogate that introduces you to the world. It's done fantastically. Because for a character who is originally a big fangirl of all the Avengers stuff and loves them and looks up to them, who then becomes a superhero, that could come off really cheesy and get really cringy very quickly, but they did it in a fantastic way, and it really, really works. You start off, as I've said, playing as Kamala Khan and getting into the story, getting the background, what's been happening. It's starting off with this whole A-Day event that happens that you've no doubt seen in countless different videos and different gameplay demos, and in the beta even. San Francisco basically gets attacked by Taskmaster and some of his henchmen at the same time that there is this new energy core within a SHIELD helicarrier that goes wrong, becomes unstable, and explodes. And so the Avengers are forced to disband and they all go their separate ways. So it's Kamala's job to reconnect all of the different Avengers to actually fight back, because now AIM, the organization that, if you know Marvel, you know AIM is one of these big kind of villainous organizations led by MODOK, another classic Marvel villain who they did fantastically in this game. have risen up, and you've got to reunite the Avengers to fight back against them. It's a very simple Marvel story, but it works really well, and the way they introduce each of the different heroes one after the other as they reassemble them all, I will ram it home that this is definitely the highlight of the game, playing through this campaign, enjoying the story. They got the voice acting, the scripts, the dialogue, the events, everything is just fantastic. Once you finish with single player, you then head on over to multiplayer in the Avengers Initiative game mode. This basically gives you an extra story. It continues on from the campaign, so once you've beaten the main villain, there's then more to do, and it says, right, we've got more work to do here, aim's still around, here's the things we need to do. There's a bunch of mission changes you can do, and from there, they're all multiplayer missions, so you can hop in with all your different friends if you want. You can have a team of up to 4 people, or you can bring AI companions, or a bit of both. It's up to you. Similar to Payday 2 in that sense, actually. Except in this game, the AI are far more competent and actually are very, very useful. So far, I've only been playing on my own because my friends didn't buy the deluxe edition. They're waiting for the main release to go in, so I've been getting into it myself and sinking my teeth in, and I've been choosing to play with the AI companions, and I've got to say, I'm very impressed with the way they work. They do a very good job of clearing out enemies for you, helping you out in combat, reviving you, all that stuff, and they work really well, and I'm a big fan of it, as well as the fact that you can choose which heroes to bring along with you, and they will wear the gear and use the skills that you've acquired for that character when you were playing as them. So for instance, with Iron Man, you can unlock some skills that allow him to use different weapons on the suit. So you start off with the repulsors, they're a core feature, you got them from the beginning, but with skills you can also use lasers as well as rockets. And I unlocked the laser skill and then saw my AI Iron Man while I was playing as Black Widow was running around using his lasers to kill enemies. So whatever skills you invest into the character, they will use those abilities when brought on as an AI companion. It's fantastic, and I love the detail they put there. It's a nice little personal touch that makes it more unique, and I'm a big fan of that. And that's not even mentioning how every single hero plays completely differently, from their light and heavy attacks to their range attacks to their special abilities, each superhero having 3 of their own ones. It's fantastic. Just playing as a new character makes the whole game feel so much fresher on top, and that's a really nice touch too. The multiplayer missions themselves are big wide environments with loads of secret loot spots and side objectives, which are great, and it adds more variety to the mission, although I have seen some criticism of people saying the multiplayer maps can get repetitive, and to be honest, I can see where they're coming from, but it's very much a question of taste. If you really enjoy getting into these big worlds, searching for loot, doing the objectives, getting involved in the combat, and just working through all these different story missions, etc., and playing with friends, then you're not going to get bored of it. But if you are someone who might think, okay, I've been in this world environment a few times now, getting a bit bored, this could be a problem for you. So that is one thing I will put across, because some of the worlds are quite repetitive. I'm not personally as fussed by that, but I know a lot of you might be, so I thought I would put that out there. You've then got a great deal more customization beyond that, because every hero you play as has a challenge card. So not only are you unlocking gear as you go along to increase your power level and also increase the base level of your hero, so you've got 2 levels to grind there, you've also got these challenge cards, which are basically battle passes for each unique hero. Now, these are completely free within the game. I will talk a minute about what's something that's worrying me with them, but you can see in there you unlock different outfits, emotes, nameplates, and just general resources to upgrade your gear, and you progress along the tiers by completing daily and weekly challenges. I would personally like to see maybe 1 or 2 more daily challenges available. The 2 weeklies, fine, I get it, but I think just having 2 daily and 2 weekly is not really enough. But I can get why they've not done many, because they want to make it last longer, so you're spending more time playing the game and taking longer to get there, so you're not just burning through the game, finishing everything, and then wondering, well, what's next? But the rewards are really good. There's a great deal of outfits that I actually want to get, especially the last one for Iron Man. The original Sin Armor looks absolutely gorgeous. But one thing that does concern me, as I mentioned a second ago, is that every reward currently under the tiers says free. Now, I would have thought that would have gone without saying, and so what worries me about that is that in the future, when they update this game, are they going to add more tiers to the challenge passes that maybe are not free, in a similar way to Call of Duty or Fortnite or any other game that's using this battle pass formula, which, let's be fair, is becoming very commonplace at the minute. So that does concern me, but honestly, not enough. Because there are other ways beyond the challenge cards that allow you to earn extra gear, mainly through vendors. So there are gear vendors, there are cosmetic vendors that you can find on your main hub, the Chimera, which is a helicarrier. There are also other hubs you unlock as you go through the game. There's one in particular which I won't spoil, because that actually just pertains some details to the story. But there are different vendors, and you can buy gear for each of your different heroes. You could also get specific outfits and emotes, etc., which you could spend using specific currencies you earn during the game. So most of the vendors will use fragments or units. These are items that you earn from playing the game. You smash containers in the maps or just complete objectives, and you will unlock units and fragments as you progress. I do think maybe you could earn them a bit faster. Like, I've gathered up several thousand from beating the entire campaign, etc., and there are some outfits that I still can't even buy with what I've got. So maybe reducing some prices or increasing the amount of fragments and units you get might be in order. Just a suggestion. But then there are also some outfits you can get from the online marketplace, which you can get either on the main menu or you can access through the cosmetic screen. Those are only purchasable with credits, which are the ones that you can actually buy with real life money. Now, you can earn credits, you can get them through the challenge cards, but I wonder about how many credits you can actually earn in total compared to how many skins they're going to be when they recycle every week or 2. I worry that, again, maybe some of the prices are too high or you don't earn enough credit. So that's also something that I consider they possibly look into. I just feel like some of the cosmetic prices, etc., maybe aren't quite accurate yet, and I would like to see a few of those prices just shifted around a little bit to make things a bit fairer for players. And then beyond that, the future of the game just looks great too. There's a ton of free updates they'll be getting over the next few years, they've promised, with new heroes, new stories to match those heroes, and a bunch of more things beyond that. Starting off with the next update, which is going to drop next month, I believe, adding Kate Bishop and Hawkeye into the game. There's a whole story where you play as Kate Bishop and you have to track down Hawkeye Clint Barton, and he will also become a member of the team. They've also teased the Black Panther will be coming. They didn't share the details because of the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman, which is still very strange to even discuss, really. It feels very odd to even say that. The age he passed, it's just horrible. It's absolutely tragic, and I still am not used to it. I don't know about anyone else, but they have said they would have revealed Black Panther, but they held off on it for obvious reasons, but teased that he was coming as well, so presumably Black Panther will be added later in the year, probably around Christmas time, or somewhere around then. I don't know what their release window is. But there are a ton more heroes leaked in the game files, like, for instance, if you don't want to know, cover your ears, there's mentions of Doctor Strange, of Scarlet Witch, of Vision, and of my personal favourite, Captain Marvel. For those of you who don't know, my two favourite superheroes are Iron Man and Captain Marvel, so I'm chuffed. So I can't wait to see a lot of those characters get added, because there's plenty that have been leaked in the files that could well be coming along. One other issue I've noticed with the game is it does seem to have some teething issues with some loading of textures, etc. I do feel like this is the first game I've played that really seems to have been built for next-gen consoles, and I do feel that on the Xbox Series X and the PS5, this is going to be a lot better, run a lot smoother, and some of the loading times won't be as bad, because sometimes when you go to switch hero, it'll take ages to load that hero up when you actually click on them. And also, in some cutscenes, you'll see some textures have some clipping, or the lighting flickers on and off. It's very rare. When you notice it, you do notice it, and you go, ugh, that's not great. But it doesn't happen all the time. It's just a few little teething issues like that, as I said, that I think really will probably just be a sign that this console generation has gotten quite old now, and the technology is advancing beyond it. So I imagine on the next consoles, those issues just won't be there. And because you got a free upgrade to them, that does make things a lot better and a lot sweeter at no further cost, beyond obviously buying the console. And so I can't really sum up Marvel's Avengers in any other way other than I see it as an absolute win, because I just do. I'm a massive Marvel fan. I'm an absolute MCU nut. I adore the films, adore the universe, and for me, this is a game that was made with those fans in mind. Now, if you don't like the games as a service kind of model with the Destiny formula of, you know, getting all the different gears and having to play lots of different multiplayer maps and get a bit repetitive, this might not be the game for you. But I think, personally, the campaign alone is something well worth picking up, because a lot of these games, these AAA games that, you know, are $50, $60, whatever, that just have a story, and once you've done it, you're done. You get a lot of fun out of those and then go, okay, well, I've played this story game, move on. If you only want to see Avengers as a story game and you just want to go in and play the campaign and then you're done, there's enough here for you. The campaign is about 10 to 12 hours, I'm pretty sure, if you just go straight through and not do any side missions. But there are plenty more side missions beyond what I've even mentioned. There are specific chains for each of the heroes that you play as, so missions to unlock special gear for Iron Man, for Black Widow, for Thor. There's plenty more you can go into that you can play solo as well, beyond just the main campaign. So if you want to play this just as a solo game to beat the story and then never pick it up again, I'd still say you're getting your money's worth here. I truly, truly would. But those are my thoughts on Marvel's Avengers. So overall, would I buy this game? Would I recommend it? Absolutely. I thoroughly enjoy it. If you are a Marvel fan, then this is for you. Nice and simple. If you have enjoyed this review, please do give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you are new around here, please hit that subscribe button, because it's quick, it's free, and I'll always love you for doing so. As I've said, if you'd like to see more Avengers videos, me playing through specific missions and talking you through the best loadouts for certain heroes, etc., the way I use my skills, that kind of thing, please let me know. I'd be very, very happy to make more videos on this and talk you through some of the things I like about this game beyond just this basic review. And finally, if you do fancy supporting me over on Patreon to keep this channel going and just show you general support, donations are never expected, but they're always appreciated, and you can donate over on the link in the description and also the link in the top right corner of the screen now. I'll be back with a new Payday 2 video in a couple of days' time, as well as a new episode of the Redcast debuting tomorrow night on Patreon at 7 PM BST, and then on Monday at 7 PM BST on both YouTube and Spotify, so look forward to that. Until then, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and take it easy.